up here with like a confused look on my face.
Do it!
The confused look on my face. You've been given a direct order to rock the fuck out! Rock out like you were just given the last rock and roll record on Earth, and the minutes are counting down to flames. Rock out like you just won both showcase showdowns. Rock out like the streets are empty except for you, your bicycle, and your headphones. Rock out like your lips were just placed onto a breakdancing muse with legs that go all the way up. Rock out like you'll never have to open up a textbook again. Rock out like you get paid to disturb the peace. Rock out like music is all that you got. Rock out like you were standing on a rooftop and the city is as loud and glowing as a river flowing below you. Rock out like the plane is going down and there are 120 people and 121 parachutes on board. Rock out like the streets and the books are all on fire and the flames can only be extinguished by doing the electric slide. Rock out like it's Saturday afternoon and Monday was a national holiday. Rock out like somebody's got a barrel pointed to your temple saying, rock out like your life depended on it, fool, because it does. Rock out like your eyes are fading, but you still got your ears, but you don't know for how long. So rock out like 5 o'clock time, poppin' lock time. Rock out like you got a pants full of tokens and nothing to do but everything. Rock out like you are the international skee-ball champion of the entire universe. Rock out like you just escaped an evil orphanage to join a Russian circus. Rock out like your hero has fallen and you're spinning your limbs until they burst into a flaming pyre of remembrance. Rock out like you are enslaved in the South and dancing is the only thing you have to know who you are. Rock out like your dead grandfather just came back to take a drive with you in your brand new car. Rock out like the table was full. Rock out like the neighbors are away. Rock out like the walls won't fall, but damn it, you're gonna die trying to make them. Rock out like the stereo's volume knob only has the figure 8 of infinity on it instead of merely numbers. Rock out like it's raining outside and you got a girl to run through it with. Rock out like you were playing football in the mud and your washing machine ain't broken. Rock out like you threw your window open on your honeymoon because you want the whole world to know what love is. Rock out like you just got a book published. Rock out like you just returned to your high school reunion and found everyone, even the women, are all ugly and balding except for the former prom queen who's just been divorced by her impotent husband and who only has eyes for you. Rock out like the shadow man passes behind you, drops you to your knees, you're buckling in a cold sweat, metals push the back of your skull, the trigger's pulled and the gun jams. Rock out like you got an empty appointment book and a full tank of gas. Rock out like Jimmy has returned carrying brand new guitar strings. Rock out like the mangoes are in season. Rock out like the record player won't skip. Rock out like this was the last weekend. Rock out like these were the last words. Rock out like you don't ever want to forget how. Thank you. There's a poet in the States named John Sands who lives in Brooklyn, New York, and is from Ohio. And John has this wonderful light goofiness inside of him. He's sort of like a Muppet with skin. And something about the way that John writes and performs his poems makes me feel like maybe I could pay this month's rent by sharing with my landlord a brand new dance move that I just invented. And so the poem that I'm about to do, when I wrote it, it felt like that to me, like something that John might be writing. And so the title of it is, Today's Love is Brought to You by the Letter John Sands. High-five me with your heart. High-thousand me with your hearts. I know you have many of them. We all love many things. I love biscuits. I love little pancakes. I love cheeseburgers. I love more than just things that I chew with my mouth. I love my wife. Sometimes I chew my wife's shoulder in my mouth. Sometimes my wife, she is annoyed by this. But still my wife loves me back. Some things that I love do not love me back. Random racist man upon the street. While your rhetoric may anger me, I still have love for you, though you probably will not love me back. Walrus, I love you. But were I to be around you, you would probably gore me with your tusks. Perhaps this is not a good example, as the wild unknowing of wild creatures is not the same as not loving something back, perhaps also because I actually do not love the walrus. But simply mention him here because there's a small figurine of a walrus on the coffee table as I write this poem. However, I do love the elephant. However, she too would probably gore me with her tusks. Again, not out of unlove, but perhaps fear. I do not love fear, but I respect him, and that he loves me, testing how well I carry the sword of my intent through the land of the midnight farm. The land of the midnight farm, it is a scary place. There are perhaps serial killers and or possums lurking inside its darkness. The serial killer may love me, but in no way I wish to be loved. Their love may involve the removal of my skin and the wearing of it out to the club. The possum may love me, but I do not love the possum. In fact, I hate the possum. Solely because of how ugly I find the possum to be. And no, I'm not talking about the cute, fuzzy Australian possum, but the grotesque North American opossum, which is ugly as sin. Yes, I realize that this is a shallow reason to dislike something, so I'm trying, North American possum, to not love you so much. Instead, possibly just be ambivalent to your existence, but oh, I want to hate you like I hate the thought of bee stings, black people, and beans. I put black people in there just to see if y'all were paying attention. I fucking love black people! I fucking love white people! Well, sometimes I find both of them to be trifling. Don't get me wrong. My only mother is black. My only wife is white, but damn if we humans aren't a trifling animal sometimes, but still I love you mountains of trifle and futility, of perseverance and lightness, of incessant rowing towards the sun, even while facing it, wondering why there is no forward momentum. Turn around, look at my many hands, holding up my many hearts, in a mini high-five salutation to you, James Brown, Nina Simone, Sydney, Australia. Yeah! So many things in this world I love. Rising with the sun, sleeping in late, little pancakes, my wife's shoulders. Thank you. This is called Even If Somebody Pooped a Poem, It's Alright, because somebody somewhere made it. Even if somebody pooped a poem, it's alright, because somebody somewhere made it. I am invincible. Oh, I should let you guys know. So I did this poem when I was on this big tour with all these musicians and bands in the States, and afterwards, some folks came up to the venue manager and were like, "We did not pay good money to be offended by that poet guy on stage." We were all very confused as to what they were offended by, and then we realized that it had to have been this poem. So I feel I should let you guys know that I do say the word penis, and I say the word vagina, and I talk about pooping in this poem. So if you can't handle any of those three things that are, a huge part of, the planet's life, feel free to step outside for a smoke, or go to the restroom and, poop, and then join the rest of us, and maybe some of the rest of our awesomeness will rub off on you. But if you're already filled with the awesomeness and completely cool with penises, vaginas, and pooping, then sit in your seats, buckle up, and get ready for the best fucking poem you ever heard in your goddamn life. Not really. But maybe you'll laugh a few times. In this day and age, that's all we can hope for. That guy knows what I'm talking about. I'm invincible. I am invincible. These hands are huge. These hands, they can buy somebody a cup of soup. On good days, they can catch bullets as if they were frisbees. I'm invincible. I can pick my nose and not carry a nose, because who the hell cares? We all have boogers. I know this. I have x-ray vision, and I can see there are boogers in all of your noses, as big and dirty as the ones in mine. So forget you and forget me too, because we all talk crap about people who never do. You know, every person sitting in this room stands up, goes to the bathroom, sits down and poos. That's right, miracle of miracles. I can take foods and it passes my teeth down to my tummy, where superpower of superpowers, that food is miraculously transformed into poop. I am invincible. I have a penis. And I can make babies with my penis. Babies that will change into boys and girls, that will change into men and women. All that is required are the superpowers known as the vagina. And I know that there are people in this world who possess these superpowers known as the vagina. I am invincible. I can flap my arms like a goose's arms, and a goose's arms are actually called wings, by the way. I can flap my arms like wings. I can walk like fly. I can close my eyes, fall asleep, and see pictures of the sun moving inside of my head. When I do, the sun looks fat and flat like a silver dollar, because you can't see all sides of it at the same time, but I know that they are there. I know that the sun is round, containing volume like a super ball. I know this because I am invincible. I also know how to make Kool-Aid, whatever flavor you want. All that is required is sugar, water, and the power to stir. I also know what aliens look like. They look like extraterrestrials. I know this because I have seen them when I draw them. Can you draw them? Can anyone in here draw them? Not like how I can. I can draw them with green skin and tentacled arms wrapped around red and yellow bubble-shaped ravens that can mouse whole buildings in a single shot. And you, that cute little that piped up from the back, you can draw them with brains inside of glass jars and robotic bodies, and your aliens are dancing with my aliens, and all of our aliens are dancing together in some space lobby, some space McDonald's somewhere, because all space people love French fries. Just ask yourself, do I love French fries? Yes! Of course you do! Because you're space people! Space people live on space planets, out in outer space, on some space planet, a space age, where little space children with green skin and tentacled arms wrapped around red and yellow bubble-shaped ray pencils are drawing space people with 2 legs and 2 arms and hearts inside that go keep on pumping, noses that are fat with boogers, and lips that are fat like kisses that open and close and open and close and open. They open like poetry, they kiss like poetry, they breathe like poetry, they move like poetry, they poop like poetry, and sometimes they poetry that poop, but even when they poop that poem is still as strong as a string stuck inside of an ice cube, stuck inside of an iceberg. We, you and I, we are as unto diamonds. Diamonds. And I know at times that all it takes to be invincible is to know you are such. And I know that you know this as well. Thank you.